Hey, good evening, friends. This is Barb Pask, back to paint for you. This is an 8x10 Centurion panel, toned in acrylic colors, and I have it on a horizontal format tonight. We're going to see how it goes, but this is what I've chosen to paint. This is a photo I took on my trip very recently to Hillsboro, Ohio. The car that's tucked in the very corner there, I do not plan to put in. Just the road running across. Probably the stop sign, I like that. Sun was out, nice shadows. Not sure how we'll handle this building here. Probably just try to paint what we see, which is some touches of color and mostly the tree. Don't know if I'll include the car yet at this point, but I think it's charming. So we're going to spend some time sketching it. I don't know if it'll sit there or not. It might be in our way. So we'll just take some ultramarine. We'll take some transparent red oxide. And we're going to just play around and spend some time and sketch it. See where things land. Put this in front of the photo and transfer those marks. That's my plan. Just got back today from a couple days in Holmes County, Ohio. If you're from Ohio, you would know that's we call it an Amish community north of here. And the leaves were fantastic. I love this time of the year. Just had a birthday, the 13th. I always say I was born a good time of the year. Just placing marks, just transferring. That last porch hits about there. See, and I can't see the bottom of it, so we'll have to move this soon, but that'll be all right. The highest roof line goes about there. All right, that's the porch. I've got some paintings that I need to finish that I started over there. Get back to them eventually, you know. It's fun to start new ones, though. I used to not do that. I used to just work on one till it was finished, and I find myself jumping around a lot more now. I get excited about so many things. That's about where the road is. Yeah, Hillsboro's a kind of mixed community. There's obviously at one time I suspect it was fairly wealthy because there are just some gorgeous homes there. Beautiful, big things. And again, I'm just transferring marks. Tricky thing is to keep track of, you know, what I got going here. I started one while I was over there that a few of them. One I like real well. It's a long 10x20 street scene. I always showed it to you, didn't I, in a short video. So I want to get back to that one. That first house, believe it or not, goes like all the way to here. So that would be the porch. And this is how I start if I'm plein air painting. I just sketch and sketch and sketch till I get what I want. Because I'm always saying, this is your painting, you know. You don't want to jump in. As fun as it is to put color in, you don't want to jump in too soon and put color in. And we may wipe some of this dark out so we're not fighting it. And if this is not a commission, you know, do whatever you want with the painting. Have fun, change the colors of the houses if you want, you know. You don't have to be absolutely true to your reference photo. It's what inspired you, and a lot of times there's one house for me that will do it. Like that big row of houses I did, there was this greenhouse in there that I just loved. I found that to be the most exciting thing. So this is usually just how I start, just drawing, and again, not much different than being outside. Plein air season's coming to an end. We went out Tuesday and painted, my group and I, and it was pretty chilly that day. I have never went out. I say there's a limit to how much I will suffer for my painting, but I have never painted in the winter outside. I love snow scenes. It's just beautiful, and I see people that do that, brave souls. But you know, I am pretty good at painting in my car, so I may, if I can figure it out this winter, I may go out and paint on a snowy day. The tricky thing about car painting is getting your scene in front of you that you want to paint. The shadow here. So we shall see. Yeah, I one day painted a barber shop down in town, and you know, I've heard it said you should be going after the light or the color, and I do find that if I choose a subject that has neither, you know, if it's like a gray barn that's not in the sunlight, it's not near as good a painting, I don't think. It's not near as interesting to paint, so I need to stop doing that. And this barber shop had no light on it, and I left it. Right now I'm looking at it, but I may see if I can play with it, and I don't know, maybe introduce light, don't know. Okay, then once you get one structure in, you can go off of there, hopefully, if you haven't screwed it up, and build the rest of them. So over from this porch post, this is about the corner of the next house. I can see that. And from the roof, there's a shadow that goes up. Part of the window's there. So you just kind of build it. It's true with still lifes too. I find if I can get one object correct, drawn correct in place, I can use it to draw everything else. Okay, now see, that's off. That runs above there. So there we go. See? Adjust, right? That comes about to there, the edge of that roof. Now I'm going to put my brush on that roof and get that angle. That's what I do. That's what I do outside too. So that's the corner of that building. Okay, and then there's 3 windows across the front. You have to check the depth of things too, because I find frequently they're not as, like if you're doing a building and you know what the front is, you've got to really straighten your arm straight out and measure the side compared to the front. Typically it's not as wide as it looks to your eye. It is fairly steep. I don't know what it is about old houses. I should own one. I just love them. Oh, we stayed in Millersburg when we went to Amish Holmes County the last few days, and there's a place called the Victorian House. It's this gorgeous old house my husband and I toured. It was built in like 1902, and the family that built it was obviously very wealthy and only lived there like 2 years before they sold it, and then it became some kind of a sanctuary or something for a few years. Then for 60 years it was in the same family. And the last lady that lived there, they said she lived in one room of the house, which kind of preserved the house, and she would climb out the window at night and mow the grass in the dark. So eventually they took her someplace. She was, obviously had some problems. So the house, again, oh my God, it's just breathtaking. It's inlaid hardwood floors, and there's marble sinks in every bedroom. Back at that time, they probably, electricity and water, I think, was just kind of coming into homes. But although all the woodwork is original, it was never painted. It's a mansion, really. It's just gorgeous. But it's the Historical Society there in Holmes County. So if you're in that area, I would recommend you support them and go visit it. It was just amazing. Okay, this roof line hits about there on this house. And we'll go back in and introduce the darks that we see before we start laying color. Just enjoy this part of it. What's the rush? And this hits about there on that house. I mean, it's not perfection, let's face it, but it's a painting. So I always say that. It's not a photograph, it's a painting. Buy a photograph of your house or put a photograph of if that's what you want, but I like paintings to look like paintings. No windows on the side of here. But I could put one if I thought it was more interesting, couldn't I? See, we have come a little more to the left than the picture shows. I could wipe it off and start over, but I'm not sure I care. there's a little car sitting here. We'll decide if we want that in. Okay. There's a sidewalk. The stop sign hits way up here about and comes down to the corner, which I think might be cute to have in there. I said, and if this car isn't here, we'll have to think about that. So let's set this down, and I'm going to introduce the shadows that I see, any darks that I see, and then wipe off anything that I think will get in our way. So we'll start here. The shadow from the chimney that's darker than the roof line. And then we have a tree. Actually, I guess it's two trees because there's one back here. We'll get some value on that too. And then there's a tree sticking out here over the edge of this house. Okay, it's pretty bright in the front. On the side of this one we have a shadow. Kind of takes up this whole area here. And on the side of that one, we kind of already blocked in that shadow. And there's a shadow there. And everything else is pretty light. So let's take our rubber knife, and I'm going to wipe off any of these darks that I think might pollute our lighter colors. Oh wait, I see another shadow that we missed. All under here. That was just kind of a reference mark, so we'll get rid of that. Yeah, see, we'll have a sidewalk, then a bit of grass, and then the road, and it goes around there. Kind of up that way. I did this dark here because there's like lattice work. I find if you put some dark behind it, then you can do the lattice work over top of it. All right, so we can begin any place we want. I think I'm going to start with not a bigger brush. And we'll just go ahead and block the sky in for no particular reason. This is a color I bought from a workshop I went to one time, and I haven't used it since I bought it, magnesium blue. But it's here. I tried it the other day. Usually I would use cobalt because that's really nice for skies. And this is not that dissimilar really. You know, it's kind of a warm blue. Oh, see that there? It didn't get mixed in too well, but I don't know if it bothers me or not. We'll kind of blend it. You can do blending on your canvas too, even though I am always trying not to brush the heck out of stuff. This is just an approximation of where, like, these chimneys are. I'm going to put a little blue down there kind of too. I can always take it out. There's a few little sky holes, not much. That's a pretty thick tree. So, color, don't you love it? That's my favorite part. These are water mixable oils, so I'm cleaning my brush in some water. A lot of times I'll find myself using one brush for most of the painting, but this one's got more details, so okay. I think we'll use that brush we sketched with and start introducing some of these light areas, because our subject's not very big here. We'll go for this the lightest lights we see here. I usually, for the white part of the house, put a little bit of yellow in it to warm it up. That's usually what I go with. Even though we tried to scrape that off, I'm still going to remove a little bit of that. See, we did pick up some of that, so we may, you know, need to come back and clean it up. We'll see. Trying to get rid of this so we don't pollute our color. And this building down here is a little bit taupier, if that's the word. So I'm going to take that same mixture and put a little transparent red oxide in it. But I want to keep it light because the sun's catching it. See, I'm getting into that paint I sketched with. We're not too worried about it though. You can really, I'm looking here, you can't hardly see this roof line there from where we are. Okay, and the side is very light too. Obviously that part's in shadow, but it wouldn't be as light as the front, would it? And we may have to lighten up the front a bit more. So I'm going to put a little tiny bit of blue. I want to keep it light, but we're going to cool it off a little bit. And again, we may have to go back and lighten the front some more. say this is where that car is, so I have to decide if I'm going to put it in or not. I don't do a lot of cars, but that first painting I did over there in Hillsboro, I did paint some cars. You know, if you're going to paint street scenes, there's going to be cars, so. This building is red brick, as is the body of this one, and then there's kind of a yellow, almost porch post there. So we want this to be fun and bright, so let's make our purest orange, which is Cad Yellow Medium and Cad Red Light. I'm going to put a little white in it because I want to lighten it, but I got to watch, you know, I don't want it to feel too cool. So, and it's going to be hard to judge because we have orange here. So, don't judge it yet. And, you know, actually I sketch these windows in, but they don't have to be there this early. I mean, we can just wipe them out. This is a shadow up here we've got to put back in. I'm going to move on over to this building and put some of this color in. I'm doing this. I'm doing that to my computer. Isn't that funny? I can tell you now, just by looking at it, I'm going to want this to be wonderful, you know, brighter like that. I'm going to want it to feel like sunshine. That goes around the corners, so I'm playing around with it. I'm putting more blue in it. It's still surprisingly light, though. But I've got to make it turn, so, you know, if it means going darker, I have to go darker. I've got to explain the form to people when they look at the building. You don't have to explain all the windows this early on. I mean, you can just block in the large shapes if you want. And we'll move around here where it also, there is some shadow shapes. That's a chimney there. I'm going to put a little solvent in this so this moves a little better for me. Hillsboro's come along. If you're familiar with that area, there were some nice restaurants. We found some nice restaurants for dinner, and I found lots of wonderful places to paint. There's a lake if you like water, so there was something for everybody. I like buildings, obviously, so I was in town. They try to pick places that accommodate everybody. There's people that like to paint, you know, fields, and people like me that like buildings. Got a little window down here on the foundation, and a little window over here. The side of this chimney is catching the same light as the front. Ooh, got into the red there. But you can always come back and add more light. And a lot of times I find I need to do that, you know, with a plein air piece. You think you're light enough, and then you get it home and it's not. It's just a common mistake. We'll see how quickly we move along, how far we get tonight, you know. Be nice to get it blocked, you know, all canvas covered anyway, and get it blocked in. We're going to go under the porch here and put a darker value. I heard from, if you follow me, you probably know I do a show every year at Northminster Presbyterian Church. I've done it for probably 12 years. It's wonderfully run, wonderful people. But when they reached out to me yesterday, I told them that I was going to pass, and that please keep me on the list, and hopefully in several years I'll come back. I explained to them that it's a lot of the same people every year that come. It's a church, and they say, oh, I have one of your paintings, or I have two of your paintings, but you set up on Friday, you're there all day Saturday, you break down on Saturday. You know, and last year I just didn't sell much. It's too much to, you know, not sell. And you know, my husband takes me down, sets me up, then he comes back and helps me break down, and I think I just need to disappear for a while. So that's my plan. You know, take, I don't know, maybe 3 years off, and then go back. That's what I'm thinking. So I feel a little bad not to go back, but he understood. He said he's seen the same thing happen to other people, and it's just part of it. It's the time that we're in. You know, art's a luxury, and so I did pick up a new one. I am doing one at King's High School, if you live around here. First time this year. That's November the 6th, I think. 5th or 6th. It's a Sunday. So I'm excited about that one. I've been painting all those little paintings for that one. So if you live in the area, come see me. Jumping around between brushes, and some of them are fairly small, you know, for this detail. Kind of has to be. See an area there we missed. That would be the building next door. I can see that this needs to come down, this area here. You know, and we got spindles here. Sometimes I use a palette knife and put them in really fine. It just depends on what you want. It needs to fit with the feel of the painting, so. And I'm not using a liner brush. I'm using a small brush though, a little kind of chunky thing. Maybe steps. So it's just like a puzzle. We just jump around and fill in areas where we need. Like I said, I've got that car sitting right here. I don't know if that would add anything to the painting, so we'll think about it. You know. Let's keep going. Let's we'll get that bigger brush back out and keep blocking in shapes. The roof lines are all pretty similar in color, actually. Wouldn't have to paint them that way, but we will for now, and we'll decide. We can always change stuff. Sometimes I'll come back and layer other colors over colors too. That's our shadow there, and then actually the tree kind of comes in about here. So now see, you can tell that that angle, that wouldn't be quite right there. See how high that peak goes up. Our little rubber knife. I love this thing. And a lot of times I use it to cut in detail at the end. Expose the tone. I like it. All right. Again, all three of these roofs are very similar in colors. You know, do we want them that way? I think I'm going to go a little darker this one out here because it's on the side. You know, I don't know that I want them all the same color. Again, there's a shadow there. See, I like the little variation. So we might think about changing this one up a little bit too. I actually put a little orange in it. And I want to get a little darker over here. You know, if it was a commission, I'm always saying that, you know, you would have to nail these colors, but this is not. People in this town will probably never see this painting, so I'm kind of doing what I want with it, having fun. I want it painterly, so and you can come in and clean this edge up with the color behind it too. Bet you knew that, right? Let me back up a little bit and see how. Things are feeling. This is a tree right in here, that's why I haven't really explained much. And that's a shadow there. Feeling like this feels a little off. It's a little better. All right. Let's put in some chimneys. That one's red brick, but it's lighter here, of course, should be where the lights catching it. And this one, it's a little taupier, but it's light. And the front edge of it, even though I have it very dark here. And we could wipe some of it off, couldn't we? Oh, here's our knife. I couldn't find our knife. We'll kind of wipe some of it off. You know, I feel as though it would look better if it were a little higher. So let's go back to the big brush. I want to keep blocking in, blocking in. Can't see a lot of this detail on this stuff. Here, let me show you before I jump too far ahead. This porch rail, under this porch rail lattice, and I'd see that I put that dark there. So typically how I would handle this would be, and you don't have to explain it all, because that dark's behind there, you know, that'll look like lattice. You know, nothing has to be perfect. I'm looking to see what's going on here. Can't really tell a lot. There's a I'm zooming in a little bit so I can see. That just looks to have one step. All right. Let's mix up some green. We'll put in the bushes that we see and maybe block in the grass. I'm going to start off with a dark green though, like Indian yellow and ultramarine blue. And up here next to this house is a very large bush. Actually, if I had put that car in, it would be behind the car, but I don't know that we're going to do that yet. So let's just put that green in there. Put in the darks that I see in this tree. My husband's in there zonked out. He drove us. Of course, he drove us home. It was just like 4 hours, not bad, but he didn't sleep good. He has a sleep apnea machine, which he forgot to bring a part of it with him. So, you know, you kind of get used to that thing, and he just didn't sleep good without it. So he's tired. Now we'll get into some yellow and lighten this a little bit. And the tree goes out here. want this dark to look like holes, so we're going to blend into it some. I did that little painting of a store here in town, and tomorrow, yeah, they're going to have like an art walk, they're calling it, where all the paintings that people donated are going to be hanging someplace in a business. So I'd like to see where mine ended up if I get a chance. I got other stuff to do, but now we're going to take just ultramarine and cad yellow medium, and maybe even a little white. If it feels too cool, we can put a little more yellow in it. All right. And I'm pretty sure I will lighten this green here. That, to me, I gotta tell you right now, I don't like it. It feels too saturated. So the complement to green is red. Put a little red in it. And I gotta see what goes in here. I don't even know. This is kind of the block end, so figure out where we're going. The sidewalks are really just kind of gray, so we use some of all three primaries and white. I'm just going to stay with this big brush, even though I know it's not going to do exactly what I want. The road's a bit darker. But you could pick and pick at this. There's a lot of detail I'm going to want in it. I get quite a bit of detail in them normally. You know, you got a little curve along the grass you're going to want in, and I am going to put that stop sign which runs from this corner to right here, because I think that's part of the charm. There's a wire that runs across, which I don't think we'll probably include that. But it's just an adjust and adjust and adjust. That's what it is. And windows go in, and so I won't bore you with any more of it. I mean, it's a good start. That's really a block in, and I actually probably went at that slower than I needed to. We could have just completely ignored, you know, all the small shapes, which I did some, but like, you know, we didn't have to kind of block in these windows at all. So, but I like the start, I think. I've got to get in closer and determine what's here. There's probably, which I don't really see them from here, but I would imagine there's probably little walkways. I'm sure there is right out to the sidewalk. So there'll be a cute addition. We're going to want those. And there's crosswalks. Huh, they seem to be in a funny place. See, there's crosswalks too. Wouldn't they come across at the sidewalk? They don't quite look like they are, but I feel as though they should. So, but I find the grass reads better if you get some darker edges in. So we'll be doing that. But I like the painterly feel of it at this point, even though it's a long way from being done. And I have to make sure I'm looking at things that I may adjust. I may adjust the color of this so it definitely stands out different from that one. Here, get in front of it. I'll put you in front of it. But I may change the color of this so it definitely stands out separate from that building. But it's a good start. The road's too dark. A lot of the values are nice. All right, so again, this is mostly a block in. I mean, a lot of people would consider this done. I see people that paint looser than this even, but not for me. I want to go in and I want to suggest windows. There's an American flag right here, which I like the addition of a flag. And again, the stop sign's really cute. And these values are off yet. But it's a good start, I think. All right, that was an hour. Like and subscribe, please, if you haven't done that. We're creeping up slowly. All right. But one thing else I see I'll point out because it's catching my eye is this value is too light. Wouldn't you agree with that? It's right on the edge. In the picture, it is very light. It's like a bay window. But I will cool that off because that's pulling my eye. That's why critiques are nice. All right. Join me next time. Have a nice night. Bye-bye.